1. Meet the YouTuber who thought physics was optional. This genius decided to fill a microwave with cement and stick his head inside it to go viral. With a plastic bag covering his face for protection, he poured quick-drying cement around his head, thinking he'd make an epic prank video. Spoiler, it didn't end well. The cement hardened faster than expected, sealing him inside his homemade tomb of stupidity. Firefighters had to spend over an hour chiseling his head out while he gasped for air. Millions of views later, the guy survived, but his dignity didn't. Moral of the story: when your life choices require a rescue team, it's no longer content. It's a cautionary tale. 2. During a time when people were worried about germs, one influencer decided to challenge biology itself. She filmed herself licking a public airplane toilet seat for the coronavirus challenge. It wasn't even satire. She thought it would make her famous. The internet responded with a mix of disgust and disbelief, while scientists everywhere quietly cried. The stunt did go viral, but not for the reason she hoped. Instead of sponsorships, she earned endless memes and public shaming. If your claim to fame involves potentially licking E. coli, fame might not be your biggest problem. 3. Some people dive into pools. Others dive into glory. This guy? He dove into a giant cactus. Shirtless and screaming, he ran full speed and leaped into the spiky embrace of nature's barbed wire, all for likes. Every single spine stuck into his skin like tiny reminders of bad decision-making. His friends filmed, cheered, and probably questioned reality as they pulled needles out of him one by one. The video racked up millions of views, but the recovery took weeks. It turns out the internet might forget you fast, but cactus wounds don't. If pain is your brand strategy, maybe it's time to hire a marketing team. 4. The internet once convinced people that lighting themselves on fire was a good idea. The fire challenge involved dousing your body in flammable liquid, setting yourself ablaze, and filming the results for social media. Unsurprisingly, many found out that fire doesn't care about followers. Emergency rooms were flooded with burns, and parents had to explain why their kids were turning into human torches for views. Firefighters started issuing public warnings, begging people not to audition for Darwin Awards. The trend eventually died out, mostly because participants realized you can't post videos from the burn unit. Fame is fleeting, but stupidity burns forever. 5. In an attempt to become a plumbing legend, a man decided to pour cement into a toilet bowl with his hand inside it. The plan? To prank his friends with an epic stuck hand moment. The result? A very real stuck hand that required firefighters, a chisel, and an entire crowd of confused onlookers. The toilet shattered, his hand swelled, and his video went viral for all the wrong reasons. This masterpiece of poor decision-making cost him hundreds in damages and thousands in embarrassment. 6. Ah yes, the Tide Pod Challenge. The moment humanity collectively forgot what detergent is for. Teens across the world started filming themselves, biting into colorful laundry pods like they were candy. Spoiler alert, they're not. Poison control centers saw a spike in calls, and even Tide had to release a public statement reminding everyone that their product was meant for clothes, not cuisine. Doctors warned of chemical burns, vomiting, and worse, but the views kept rolling in. The saddest part? Some people actually gained followers for nearly poisoning themselves. When your snack choice requires a call to poison control, it's not a trend, it's natural selection auditioning for YouTube. 7. In 2021, one woman ran out of hairspray and decided Gorilla Glue would do the trick. Her hair stayed perfectly in place for a month. When washing didn't help, she went viral explaining her predicament online. and the internet went wild. She ended up in the hospital, where doctors had to perform surgery to remove the adhesive. While she did become famous, it was for all the wrong reasons. Brands reached out, fans made memes, and she learned a painful truth. Industrial strength glue isn't a beauty product. The silver lining? Her story became a permanent reminder that when it says not for skin, they really mean it. 8. A man thought he'd get a viral engagement moment by proposing to his girlfriend on an active railway track. Romantic music, drone footage, and a ring. What could go wrong? Everything. As the couple posed for photos, a train horn blared in the distance and they barely escaped in time. The video still made it online, earning both fame and universal roasting from viewers. Safety officials even issued a public statement calling it one of the dumbest stunts of the decade. If your proposal involves dodging trains, maybe love isn't the problem, your life choices are. 9. One influencer thought crashing a plane would make a thrilling vlog. So, he took off in a small aircraft, pretended to have engine trouble, and bailed out mid-air with a parachute while his camera captured everything. The plane slammed into the ground, and people quickly noticed something fishy. No mayday call, no attempt to land, and conveniently perfect camera angles. Investigators found the wreckage and discovered he'd staged the entire crash for views. The stunt cost him his pilot's license, his sponsors, and most of his reputation. Turns out, the only thing that crashed harder than his plane was his career. 10. Brand loyalty went way too far when one man tattooed Gucci across his forehead, claiming he wanted to become the face of luxury. He posted the video online, expecting sponsorships and instant fame. Instead, the internet gave him a reality check. The brand ignored him, job offers vanished, and the tattoo became a permanent badge of regret. After realizing no one was impressed, he tried to cover it up, but ink fades slower than embarrassment. If your career plan includes free advertising for billion-dollar companies on your own skin, you might want to rethink your influencer strategy. 11. Influencers will try anything for a viral look, even industrial materials. This guy thought using superglue as a lip filler would make him famous for having the world's best pout. Spoiler, he succeeded, but only in the world's biggest mistake category. Within minutes, his lips were sealed tighter than a bank vault. He rushed to the emergency room where doctors had to pry them open using medical solvents. The internet couldn't stop laughing, and his followers skyrocketed, but so did the memes. Moral of the story? If your beauty routine involves hardware supplies, you're not starting a trend, you're starting a case study. 12. One content creator decided that pretending to be kidnapped would rack up views. She staged the entire event, complete with fake bruises and dramatic screaming, while her friends rescued her on camera. The video went viral, but not in the way she hoped. Concerned citizens called the police, thinking it was real, which led to an actual investigation. When the truth came out, she faced charges for wasting police resources and a massive public backlash. Her acting skills got her internet infamy instead of Hollywood fame. Next time, maybe try makeup tutorials instead of mock crimes. 13. Public pranks are risky, but this man took it to another level. During a crowded afternoon at a shopping mall, he stripped down to his underwear and cannonballed straight into a massive indoor fish tank. Security cameras caught every splash, along with startled fish and horrified shoppers. He climbed out soaked, triumphant, and immediately arrested. The video went viral, earning him laughs and a lifetime ban from the mall. When interviewed later, he said he just wanted to make a splash on the internet. Mission accomplished, but unfortunately, the only thing that went swimmingly was his stupidity. 14. Some influencers eat weird things for attention: chalk, soap, paper, but this one decided a wooden chair would be her claim to fame. She posted a video titled, "Can I Eat a Chair?" and started gnawing on it piece by piece. The internet watched in disbelief as she chewed splinters, grimaced, and claimed it was for the views. Halfway through, her mouth was bleeding and her teeth paid the price. Dental bills later proved more expensive than any sponsorship she hoped to get. If you ever find yourself seasoning furniture for clout, it's time to log off and rethink your diet and life choices. 15. In a moment of legendary foolishness, one man stood on train tracks, arms out like Superman, challenging a moving train to stop for him. His friends filmed from a distance, cheering him on. Luckily, the train engineer saw him early and stopped before tragedy struck, but the video still caused outrage online. Railway authorities fined him heavily and banned him from multiple transport zones. He claimed it was a test of courage, but everyone else called it a test of IQ. Internet fame isn't worth turning yourself into a warning sign. Leave the train stopping to superheroes, not social media amateurs. 16. A couple on vacation thought it'd be hilarious to cook chicken in Yellowstone National Park's thermal hot springs. They brought raw poultry, a frying pan, and an audience of confused tourists. When park rangers caught them mid-meal prep, the couple learned that boiling chicken in protected natural wonders is, in fact, illegal. They were fined and banned from the park for life. Their video still made rounds online, but so did their mugshots. When you're cooking in a national treasure, you're not a chef. You're a headline waiting to happen. Mother Nature doesn't need seasoning, and neither does your stupidity. 17. One viral challenge turned grocery stores into crime scenes. People started licking ice cream tubs, resealing them, and putting them back on shelves for laughs. One woman's video exploded online, sparking outrage and police involvement. She was tracked down and charged with food tampering. The internet roasted her for days, calling her the Queen of Contamination. Stores had to lock freezers and install cameras just to stop the madness. She got the attention she wanted, but not the kind that leads to brand deals. If your viral stunt makes strangers check expiration dates in fear, you're doing social media wrong. 18. Some people love selfies. Others risk their lives for them. A man at a zoo decided he'd take the ultimate shot, inside a lion's enclosure. He hopped the fence, pulled out his phone, and started posing while the lion stared in disbelief. Zookeepers rushed to sedate the animal before disaster struck, and the man was dragged out unharmed but immediately arrested. His selfie went viral, earning him more mockery than likes. When asked why he did it, he said he wanted to feel powerful. The only thing he powered was a global conversation about Darwin Award nominees. Wild animals aren't photo props, they're future headlines. 19. When your power goes out, most people reach for a power bank. This man reached for a potato. He saw a viral hack, claiming you could charge your phone using 2 potatoes, some copper wire, and optimism. He filmed the entire process, convinced he'd become the next tech influencer. The result? A dead phone, 2 stabbed potatoes, and a lesson in why science classes exist. The internet loved his confidence, but roasted his understanding of electricity. He didn't invent a new power source, just a new meme format. The potato might be versatile, but charging iPhones isn't on its resume. 20. One influencer wanted the perfect adventure shot, so she climbed to the edge of a 300-foot cliff, posed with one leg hanging off, and took a selfie. A gust of wind nearly sent her tumbling, but she caught herself at the last second while her phone fell to its doom. The clip went viral as people debated whether bravery or stupidity had just occurred. Rescue teams later said they get dozens of similar calls every year from people chasing likes instead of safety. The shot got millions of views, but no sponsorships. Gravity doesn't care about your followers, and cliffs don't forgive hashtags. 21. When regular swimming pools weren't enough, one man decided to cross a river full of crocodiles to gain views. He filmed himself stepping into the muddy water, bragging that he'd show nature who's boss. Within seconds, the sound of splashes made everyone watching realize who the real boss was. Luckily, he scrambled back to shore with just a few scratches and a viral video of pure panic. Wildlife officials weren't impressed and fined him for trespassing into a protected area. The internet roasted him mercilessly, calling him Croc Snack. If your stunt involves becoming part of a predator's lunch menu, maybe it's time to find a safer hobby. Like chess. 22. Some ideas sound funny until physics gets involved. A man decided to celebrate the 4th of July by sticking fireworks in his rear end and lighting them for TikTok. The explosion that followed was not the patriotic sparkle he expected. He screamed, fell over, and the fireworks kept going while his friends recorded in laughter and horror. He ended up with burns in places no doctor wants to treat and a viral video that made viewers cringe worldwide. Hospitals later reported similar cases after others tried copying him. When your celebration involves pain, fire, and regrets, it's not a trend, it's a warning label. 23. Some influencers fake giveaways or relationships, but this one went for drama. She pretended to be pregnant for several months, posting bump updates, gender reveals, and emotional captions. When followers congratulated her, she doubled down on the lie. Eventually, she announced that she lost the baby, sparking sympathy across the internet. The problem? Her best friend leaked screenshots proving it was all fake. Overnight, she went from inspiring mom-to-be to queen of manipulation. Her follower count plummeted, and she became a case study in what happens when clout outweighs conscience. If your fame requires faking tragedy, it's time to rethink your morals, not your hashtags. 24. One cooking influencer decided kitchen appliances were overrated. To stand out, she grabbed a clothing iron, placed raw steak on it, and called it hotel room cooking. She filmed the sizzling disaster while flipping the meat with a credit card. When she proudly cut into the steak, it was raw inside and burnt outside, basically a culinary crime scene. Food critics roasted her harder than her meal, and even hotel staff commented about fire hazards. The internet called it fine dining for fools. Her creativity was undeniable, but so was her lack of understanding of both cooking and electricity. Innovation is great until it's dinner and disaster sharing the same plate. 25. Pain tolerance and stupidity often overlap, and this man proved it. He sat in front of a camera with a huge cactus and declared he'd eat it for internet glory. Without hesitation, he took a big bite and instantly regretted every life decision. The spikes went through his tongue and cheeks while he tried to act tough for the camera. Blood, tears, and regret followed. The video hit millions of views, but no amount of fame could make up for the weeks of swelling and stitches. He wanted to go viral. He did, but his dentist probably unfollowed him immediately. 26. Beach day turned bizarre when a woman found a jellyfish washed ashore and decided it would make a cool fashion statement. She placed it on her head, called it the ocean crown, and took selfies for her followers. Within seconds, she started screaming as the jellyfish stung her scalp. Paramedics rushed to treat her while her friends continued filming. The video spread fast with commenters dubbing her the Queen of Pain. Scientists later confirmed it was one of the most dangerous jellyfish species in the region. When your fashion sense makes medics part of the photo shoot, it's safe to say your look was killer, literally. 27. A wannabe influencer decided to prank his friends and followers by faking his death to see who cared. He staged an elaborate funeral, complete with flowers, a coffin, and mourners. Cameras were hidden to capture everyone's reactions. When he suddenly appeared alive during the service, expecting applause, people instead screamed and stormed out. The backlash was immediate, with friends cutting ties and viewers calling him heartless. He posted an apology video later, but the internet wasn't forgiving. Turns out, if you have to fake dying for attention, maybe your social life was already dead. 28. This thrill seeker hiked to the edge of an active volcano in an attempt to get the most extreme selfie ever. Ignoring safety barriers, he leaned too far over and tumbled into the crater's rim, luckily landing on a ledge before falling into molten doom. Rescue teams had to airlift him out as he screamed that he just wanted views. His video went viral, but the internet dubbed him Lava Boy. Scientists called the stunt idiotic and life-threatening. Fame is hot, sure, but when your audience includes actual lava, it's time to cool off and rethink your content plan. 29. Love can make people do strange things, but this influencer broke speed records. After a single date with a guy she met online, she tattooed his full name across her face and uploaded the video proudly. Within a week, he ghosted her completely. The internet exploded with jokes, memes, and sympathy comments. She tried to defend herself, saying it was romantic, but followers saw it as a masterclass in impulsive regret. Tattoo artists everywhere used her as an example of what not to do. If your relationship hasn't survived a pizza order yet, maybe permanent ink isn't the right next step. 30. In one of the most jaw-dropping stunts ever, a man at an aquarium decided it would be funny to steal a live shark for content. He grabbed a small horn shark from its tank, wrapped it in a towel, and ran out while his friend filmed. Security caught him within minutes, and the shark was safely returned. The internet couldn't believe the audacity, and marine biologists called it one of the dumbest animal-related crimes ever recorded. He claimed it was just a prank, but authorities disagreed and charged him with theft. When your prank involves kidnapping sea creatures, you're not an influencer, you're an aquatic villain in flip-flops. 31. You know you've reached a new level of stupidity when you go live during a crime. One man decided to rob a convenience store while live streaming the whole thing on Facebook. He wore no mask, said his own name, and even responded to viewer comments during the robbery. Police didn't even need to investigate. The evidence was in 1080p. Within an hour, he was arrested, and his live stream became evidence in court. His followers skyrocketed for a day, but his freedom didn't last as long. He wanted fame, and he got it, just not the kind you brag about in prison. When you're narrating your own arrest for likes, it's safe to say your influencer career is officially behind bars. 32. A TikTok trend encouraged people to dance alongside slow-moving cars while music played. One girl decided to outshine everyone by jumping off while the car was still speeding. Her plan was to nail the choreography mid-roll. Instead, she face-planted into the pavement in front of millions. The video instantly went viral, and hospitals reported multiple copycats arriving with identical injuries. Even doctors started begging people online to please stop dancing into traffic. She did earn internet fame, but every viewer agreed the only rhythm she found was the sound of poor life choices hitting asphalt. 33. This man took cosplay way too far. Determined to become a real-life merman, he built a homemade tail out of plastic, duct tape, and rubber fins. To prove its functionality, he jumped into the ocean wearing it. Within minutes, the tail filled with water, and he started sinking. Lifeguards had to rescue him while onlookers filmed, thinking it was part of a performance. He later admitted it was for mermaid influencer fame. The internet loved the dedication, but mocked the lack of common sense. If your DIY dream ends with the Coast Guard dragging you to shore, maybe your fantasy needs a life vest. 34. Trying to prove that dog food is the new diet trend, one influencer documented herself eating nothing but kibble for 7 days. She claimed it was high in protein and surprisingly tasty. Her viewers watched in shock as she reviewed different flavors like a five-star chef. On day 4, she ended up in the hospital with severe stomach cramps and dehydration. Veterinarians publicly reminded people that dog food isn't meant for humans. The video did go viral, but not as a health trend, more as a lesson in desperation. If you're chasing likes, maybe leave the kibble to the canines and grab a sandwich instead. 35. This teenager wanted to prove how dedicated he was to viral fame by cementing both his feet into buckets and live streaming the process. As the cement hardened, he realized he hadn't planned how to get out. He screamed for help, while commenters laughed and gave advice like, use vinegar. Firefighters eventually arrived, breaking the cement apart while he sat there embarrassed and barefoot. The rescue took 2 hours, and his livestream became an instant meme. He claimed he was testing endurance, but everyone else called it testing stupidity. When your trend ends with emergency tools and regret, fame loses its charm pretty quickly. 36. At a funeral service, one influencer decided to make her goodbye go viral by twerking on her late friend's casket while music blasted in the background. She called it a celebration of life. The internet called it a new low. The video drew millions of views, mostly from people wondering how humanity got here. The deceased's family was furious. The funeral home banned her for life, and brands distanced themselves instantly. She later tried to spin it as performance art, but no one bought it. When your tribute involves dancing on the dead, you're not paying respect, you're paying for your mistakes and reputation points. 37. Some men chase storms. This one tried to catch one. Armed with a rope, a cowboy hat, and a camera, he drove into the middle of a storm zone yelling, "I'm going to go viral!" As the funnel cloud appeared, he jumped out and threw his rope toward it like a modern-day tornado wrangler. Mother Nature responded by tossing his truck across the field. Miraculously, he survived, and his video blew up online. Meteorologists called it one of the dumbest acts of weather denial ever recorded. If you think you can outrope a tornado, maybe your next viral stunt should involve staying indoors. 38. A couple looking for internet fame decided to host their wedding inside an abandoned haunted house, known for eerie legends. They live-streamed the entire event, hoping ghosts would make a cameo. Midway through the ceremony, strange noises and falling objects spooked guests into running. Some claimed they saw shadows moving. The couple laughed it off. But their footage went viral for all the wrong reasons. Paranormal enthusiasts roasted them for mocking spirits, while skeptics mocked them for believing. Either way, their haunted wedding became a comedy show online. When your special day looks more like a horror movie, it's time to pick a safer venue, maybe with fewer ghosts and better lighting. 39. One wannabe daredevil decided that jumping onto a parked police car would make for great content. He filmed himself sprinting across the street, leaping onto the hood and yelling, "This is for TikTok!" The officers sitting inside didn't share his enthusiasm. They stepped out, handcuffed him instantly, and the video ended with his shocked face. The clip went viral, earning millions of laughs and a hefty fine. His fans called it legendary, but judges called it criminal damage. If your idea of content creation involves police cars, just know you'll get the attention you want, but not the freedom you expect. 40. This man wanted to test how many dogs will chase me if I smell like peanut butter. He stripped down to his shorts, slathered himself in peanut butter, and charged into a busy dog park with his camera rolling. Within seconds, dozens of dogs swarmed him, knocking him over and licking him from head to toe. Dog owners screamed, kids laughed, and animal control was called. He escaped with bruises, bite marks, and a viral clip titled "Peanut Butter Man Learns Regret." While his video did get millions of views, it also earned him a permanent ban from the park. When your audience bites back, maybe it's time to pick a less edible idea. 41. Nature photos are cool until nature notices you. One girl saw a black bear wandering near a hiking trail and thought, this will blow up on Instagram. She tiptoed close, phone in hand, trying to get the perfect over-the-shoulder selfie. The bear turned around, sniffed her, and started walking toward her as the camera rolled. She screamed, dropped her phone, and ran for her life. Rangers later found her phone and uploaded the footage as a warning to tourists. The video went viral, but for all the wrong reasons. Turns out, bears don't care about your followers. They only care that you're too close. The selfie might have earned her fame, but the fear aged her 10 years. 42. A beauty influencer decided to take the phrase bright eyes literally by pouring household bleach into her eyes on camera, claiming it would make them lighter. Her followers screamed in the comments to stop, but by then, the damage was done. She was rushed to the hospital with chemical burns, blurred vision, and a permanent reminder that the internet isn't a substitute for science. The clip exploded online as one of the most horrifying examples of DIY beauty gone wrong. She later apologized, saying she didn't think it through. Everyone else already knew that. Fame might be blinding, but apparently so is bleach. 43. In an attempt to prove he was fearless, one man snuck into an aquarium after hours and jumped into the shark tank while his friends filmed. As the shark circled, he thrashed around, yelling, "It's all for TikTok!" Security tackled him the moment he climbed out, and the video quickly made headlines. Marine experts condemned the stunt, while commenters called him shark bait deluxe. He was fined thousands and banned from every aquarium in the region. The sharks, on the other hand, handled it with more class than he did. When your fame involves trespassing and teeth, maybe it's time to rethink your idea of bravery. 44. A tech blogger once claimed that deep frying her smartphone would make it glow with rainbow colors. Thousands watched live as she dropped her phone into a pot of sizzling oil. What followed was a loud pop, a burst of smoke, and a near-kitchen fire. She screamed, grabbed a towel, and ended the stream abruptly. The video became an instant meme titled, "How to Lose a Phone in 10 Seconds." She later admitted it was a publicity stunt that backfired harder than the frying oil. When your tech tips end with firefighters, you're not an influencer. You're an electrical hazard. 45. To entertain his followers, a prankster dressed up in a full gorilla costume and leaped into the ape enclosure at a zoo, pretending to join his family. The real gorillas were not amused. They charged at him immediately while he screamed for help. Zookeepers tranquilized the animals and dragged him out, furious that he risked everyone's safety. The footage went viral, but so did the backlash. Animal rights groups called him the dumbest Tarzan ever recorded. He apologized, but the damage was done, both to his reputation and his dignity. If your prank makes professionals reach for tranquilizer guns, your comedy career might need a rethink. 46. In an attempt to go viral with a public prank, a man glued himself to a store's toilet seat, thinking it would make hilarious content when rescue crews arrived. Unfortunately, he used industrial-strength glue, and the pain kicked in fast. Firefighters had to dismantle the toilet around him while shoppers filmed from a distance. The video of him being carried out, still attached to the seat, became internet legend. He later said it was worth it for the views. Everyone else disagreed. Fame that requires power tools and embarrassment is a special kind of victory no one should chase. 47. A self-proclaimed life hacker decided he could prove humans could adapt to underwater breathing by training himself with plastic tubing and optimism. He jumped into a pool with a hose in his mouth, trying to breathe like a fish. Within seconds, he inhaled water and had to be dragged out coughing by his friends. The internet turned his failure into endless memes. Scientists everywhere facepalmed in unison. He later said he wanted to inspire innovation, but everyone agreed he mostly inspired lifeguards to stay alert. When your experiment nearly proves Darwin right, it's probably time to stay on dry land. 48. Tired of her straightener, one woman decided a clothing iron would do the same job faster. She set it to the highest heat, placed her hair between the plates, and smiled for the camera. The smell of burning filled the room seconds later. She lifted the iron, only to find a chunk of her hair melted to the metal. Her shocked face became an instant meme, and hairdressers worldwide used it as a cautionary tale. She wanted to show off a life hack. Instead, she showed what happens when common sense takes a vacation. When your hairstyle doubles as a fire hazard, it's time to call a salon. 49. For the finale of his YouTube series, one man decided to jump his car over his backyard pool, Fast and Furious style. He set up a makeshift ramp, revved the engine, and yelled, "For the views!" The car barely lifted off the ground before nosediving straight into the water. His friends screamed while he climbed out, soaked, furious, and instantly broke. The stunt destroyed his car, pool, and lawn, but it earned him millions of views and 0 brand deals. The video was titled, "When Physics Wins." If your big moment ends with insurance claims, maybe your next stunt should involve something cheaper, like Lego cars. Hit that like button, subscribe for more 49 insane stories, and keep your brain switched on while chasing fame.